Hey YouTube, it's your girl Sharonda Patrice, and I am back with another video. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Today's video is going to be another story time. So this story time is going to be about how God blessed me with a job that I'm at now back in 2018. So I'm going to rewind to 2016. 2016 is when I graduated from college. And so I went to college for exercise science. I got my degree in exercise science. Um, at a time, I could have got a certificate. I probably still could get a certificate now, but I could have got a certificate. I could have been doing some other stuff other than what I'm doing now, even going back to school. First of all, with that certificate, I did not want to pay for a test that I didn't even know if I was going to pass, because I was one of those that struggled in as a test taker. Like, I could feed you the information, like verbally talking to you, but looking at it on a piece of paper, I was just like, what is this? So I was just like, you know what, let's just not do that. And then they were offering me promotions at my job, and I'm not gonna say the name of the job on here, but it was a retail job. But they were even offering me promotions before I even graduated from college. So the year before I graduated, I got a promotion. The year that I graduated, promotion. The year after that, promotion. So I was like, you know what I'm saying? I want to be where the money reside. Okay, they was offering me a little piece of change. I'm trying to be where the money reside. Not trying to go somewhere else, start brand new, and have to work my way up. I was already working my way up. I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. So it wasn't until the last promotion where I was like, okay, I think it's time to go now. So I'm gonna tell you why. It was a lot of factors going on into why it was time for me to go. So I had got promoted to a manager, and I wasn't like the top dog manager, but it was enough managerial stuff going on. So I got promoted to a manager, and first things first, I was the only black manager in the store. Yeah, in the store, because I said it was retail. I was the only black manager in the store. That was already, it wasn't an issue for me, because I mean, I'm a people person, so I get along with everybody. I don't really care what you think about me. I'm gonna get along with everybody. So, um, the issue with that was that I was kind of like the outsider, because I was the only, everybody else was white. I was the only black manager in the store. So, then another issue, when I got the position, I was responsible for hiring my assistant. And so the assistant, there was really no, there wasn't a lot of people that was qualified. I'm not gonna say there was nobody, but there was not a lot of people that was qualified. And I was between a white man who knew all the stuff, but I could tell from his interview that he was gonna have a hard time taking instruction or whatever from a young black woman. And then I had a black man who had never been in the position before, and just wanted the opportunity. If I was to give him the opportunity, he was going to work and he would get the job done. So, of course, I went with the person who wanted the opportunity and wanted to prove themselves and all that stuff like that, versus somebody who I didn't know if I was going to work well with. So I made my decision to hire the black man. So that was an issue. As we go along, that seems to be an issue. So my first two things are race, right? It's got to do with race. So a third thing about race is I'm hiring all these people, y'all. I'm talking about, I was hiring every month. Like, I did not want to be without staff. I did not want to be low on staff. So I was hiring every month somebody, at least one person every month. And it was getting to the point where they were like, "Oh, you have too many black people working for you." And I'm just like, but I don't know what else to do because I'm hiring diverse. I was hiring black, I was hiring white, I was hiring Hispanics, I was hiring diverse. The issue is the black people wanted to work, whereas the white people either called out all the time or they worked there for a couple weeks and they was like, I don't really like this, and they stopped working. But most of our customers were white people, so I could understand why I was having such a hard time keeping the white people. But it wasn't that I was only hiring black people, it was just that the white people didn't want to stay or they didn't want to work. So that was always an issue. Something about race was always an issue. And all I kept, I feel like criticize, criticize, criticize. That's how I feel. Like I just got tired of dealing with that. But that was just one of the things that I had to deal with. I also had to deal with always working. And when I say always working, I mean work 5 days a week, 8 hour shifts. But when I was off, somebody was always calling me. And like, as far as my staff, I don't mind, like the upper staff. I don't mind if you call me if you have a situation and you don't know how to do it, because I'd rather you ask me and get it right than to not do it, not ask me and you get it wrong. So that was okay for them to call me. But when upper management is calling me, I mean management higher than me is calling me because they don't know what to do, that's a problem. So I'm trying to figure out why they couldn't run the store without me being there. So they were always calling me. Another issue that I had was my work schedule, which was, like I said, I didn't work Monday through Friday, but I worked 5 days a week, for 8 hours, and the work schedule was crazy, like 10 to 7 during the, I want to say the winter months, 10 to 7 during the winter months, 11 to 8 during the summer months. So I already didn't like that schedule. And then I had to work every weekend except for one a month, which is, I didn't like it because I wanted to go to church. And at the time, I wasn't really going to church, but I hadn't found a church that I really liked yet. But I still wanted to try to find a church, but I can't find a church if I'm working every Sunday. And oh, let me rewind back. The guy that I hired, he also was a Christian and liked to go to church too. So here we are, me and him, like, okay, we wanted these jobs, but here we are having to work almost every Sunday. And it was just like, what in the world? So we can only have off one weekend a month. And every weekend, other than that, you had to work. So that was one of the things I didn't like. And oh, and then you have to work every holiday as a manager. Like, so when do I get to spend time with my family? Like, I don't get to work. I don't get to have some holidays off to spend with my family. So that was just the work schedule and the always just seemed like I'm always working. That was just like, it really got on my nerves. So the race, the work schedule. Next is help. My issue is the upper management did not want to help. And in our policy, now I'm not a straight by the policy kind of gal. I mean, like, yes, I'm gonna go by policy on certain things, but if we can waver it a little bit, then I'm gonna do that. So, but the policy says that whenever we needed help, we were to call the managers. Managers that was not trying to come and help. That was a big issue because when I needed to go do something or to help a customer or whatever, they were not coming. Or even if I didn't, let's just say I wanted them to go and help the customer and I do whatever I'm doing, they were not coming. And I'm just like, bruh, y'all tell me to call. When I don't call, y'all get an attitude. So which one is it? Either you want to come up here or you don't want to come up here. So that was one thing. And then another thing is that I felt like the upper management didn't have my back or my staff's back when it came to um, customers. And I know the saying that customers are always right, but listen, customers are not always right. We do try to give them, even when they're wrong, we do try to kind of like compensate and help them out or whatever it is that we can do to kind of like meet in the middle to help the customer. But the customer's not always right. And some customers are rude and belligerent and they're doing stuff that they're not supposed to be doing. They're stealing and they're trying to get money back. And it's just like, y'all, can y'all help us out? Can y'all have my back? Can y'all have my staff's back? Like no support from the upper management at all. So that was like another thing for me. So race, the work schedule, no help, and my last straw, y'all, my last straw to go to that guy was telling me it's time to get out of this place was I was I think I had been on vacation or something. No, I wasn't on vacation. I I took a holiday off. I took a holiday off. My assistant was there, and so as long as my assistant was there, it's okay. So I think it was Mother's Day off or something like that. And um when I came back, we were supposed to have these meetings at the beginning of the week every week. And so when I came back, we were getting ready for the meeting or whatever, and I was just chit chatting with other managers or whatever. And this one particular manager, well, let me rewind. When I got back, they said when I had got back from being off from that particular holiday, my assistant as well as staff other of my staff members were telling me that they were not receiving help when they were called. And so um when we got to the meeting, I was just like, they was like, does anybody have anything they want to say to start off the meeting? And I was just like, yeah, I just want to throw in there like, I know I was off or whatever, but I was told by several different people that there was no help, and I just want to make sure that we are working together as a team and helping each other out whenever we can. And this one particular manager, he starts going off, and I'm just like, oh, okay, what in the world's going on? And he's just like, you shouldn't have took the holiday off, and they were busy and they're constantly calling us, and how can we get our stuff done if they're constantly calling us and dot 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 dot, and you should have da, 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 da. And I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, okay, this is not the place for you to say that, and it's really not your place to tell me that anyway. But if you want to have a conversation about this, we can do this outside of the meeting. He was like, oh yeah, we'll have a conversation about this after the meeting. And I was like, oh, okay. So um it was very quiet, very awkward after that. And I had got called because the customer needed some help. So I had to step out of the meeting. So I stepped out of the meeting to go help the customer. When I came back, um there was nobody. I mean, like there were managers there, but there was hardly any managers there. And I was like, so we done with the meeting already? And they was like, well, after you left, he threw a chair because he was so angry at, I guess, whatever, I guess me taking that holiday off, and he didn't want to help. So I was like, okay, that's the last straw because I'm not gonna be dealing with violence. I'm just not gonna be dealing with violence. And not that I'm afraid, but why? I'm the only black person there. Do you really want me to show my color? So I was just like, you know what? This is it. And then I didn't say this, but at one point I had been pretty much set up by one of the managers with where I know that what I did was wrong. I know what I did was wrong, and I didn't care when I did it. But this this was the top manager had wrote me up because of what I did, but she did it too. She does it all the time. And what happens is I told somebody something that they wasn't supposed to know. That's basically what I did. I told somebody that something they wasn't supposed to know, but I wanted them to know so they didn't think that I had anything to do with it. And I didn't care if the manager found out. I really didn't care. I just want to make sure that they knew that I had nothing to do with it. I would never try to sabotage anybody's job or anything like that. So the top manager wrote me up for telling somebody something that I shouldn't have, but that manager tells everybody's stuff. I'm talking about stuff that I shouldn't know. Like, and I'm not talking about like personal business. I'm talking about stuff inside of the business. I could tell you everything about that person and what they're doing, what they should not be doing. And so when I felt like I was being set up, violence was coming in. I was like, oh no, this is the last straw. It's time to go. So I just started applying for jobs. I just started applying. So in the midst of me applying, I was calling HR too because number one, you're not gonna be throwing a chair. Number two, you're not gonna be setting me up when you're doing the same thing. So I called HR and I reported that along with me just applying for stuff. And I'm saying, y'all, when I say I'm applying for stuff, I put in so many applications, I don't even know what I put in. So one of the jobs that I really wanted to work at was a bank. But you guys, I'm gonna insert a picture. I had like red hair, like red hair. And I felt like that because I was black and I had this really red hair that they thought I was just like ghetto or whatever and they didn't want to hire me or whatever. So um I was it wasn't that I wasn't getting the interviews. It was I was getting interviews and they weren't choosing me. And I even asked one of the interviews I even asked, is the color of my hair gonna be an issue because I can dye that. Like that's no problem. And they was like, oh yeah, no problem. Still didn't get picked. So one day I'm at my parents' house. I get this phone call um from somebody basically saying like they wanted me to come in for an interview. Could I come in on this day at this time, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, but who is this? And where am I meeting at? What time? All that stuff like that. So they told me the time, the department, all that stuff like that. Y'all, when I say I do not remember applying for this job, when I say I do not remember applying for this job. And so I went back and I tried to go like sign in. Like all my passwords are pretty much the same. So I was just like, let me just try this password, and it worked. Y'all, when I say I don't remember applying for this job, but it had it down that I had applied in June, and they called me in August. Y'all, I don't remember applying for this job. That's why I say it had to be God. That had to be God because I don't remember applying for it. So I get there, I get the interview, um, and actually my boss shopped at the store that I worked at. So he was familiar with me. I personally didn't remember him. I do remember his wife, but I personally don't remember him. But he shopped at the store that I worked at, and he was just like he loved like how I had the store and da 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 da. So that was that interview in August, and then I had to come back for a second interview, and so I pretty much got the job, and I put in my notice at the store. So that was how God blessed me with this job. And I just want to say, for those of you who know me, yes, I do complain about this job. Yes, this job tends to work my nerve, but it is going back looking, this job is still better than where I came from. I'm not required to work 3 weekends out of the month. I'm only required to work 2 weekends every 6 weeks. Okay, so that's already better. I'm not a manager, so I'm not being called on my days off. I'm not being like, it's not work, 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 work. Like when I'm off, I'm off. So that's a plus. The work schedule is, I'm only working 36 hours and 12-hour shifts. So yes, I do have to work long hours, but if I only want to work 3 days that week, then I got the rest of my 4 days off, or however it may be. But I also can pick up overtime. So it's just like a lot of stuff about this job that is much better than the job that I was at. So yes, I do complain about this job, but I'm still grateful to have this job because I could be where I was. I could be not paying my bills. I could be not having clothes on my back. I could be not having food in my refrigerator, in my cabinets. Like, it could be so much worse off. But I thank God for still providing me with a job, even during the coronavirus when people were without a job. I still had guaranteed money coming in because I was an essential worker. So, um, I do. I'm really grateful, and I tell people all the time. People ask me like, "Are you working? What you doing today?" Da da da. I'm working, fortunately, but unfortunately, because fortunately I have a job. Unfortunately, that I'm here, but fortunately, still that I have a job. I thank God. I thank God for having a job. So now, I'm on another quest to find a job because me and my fiance want to relocate. When we get married, we want to live in a different city. And so I am looking for jobs outside of the city that I'm in now, um, to the city that we would like to stay in. So, um, I am currently job searching now. So hopefully I will come on here with another video about how God blessed me again with another job, because I feel that I'm going to be blessed with another job, and it's going to be even better than this one. Even better than this one. So, yeah. That is my story about how God blessed me with another job. I will see you guys next week. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye.